Dante is a really smart guy.
Ladies love Dante.
I want it there. Look at that face. What's your name? Casey.
Dante Greco.
Dante was me, yours truly.
I'm gonna come.
Welcome to the Dante Greco Show. I'm Dante Greco. I'm joined, of course, by my fiance and co-host, Evie Matavelli.
Hi, guys.
Here we are. It's America's best couples podcast. It's the only one where people actually say funny and interesting things. It's not some lame-ass relationship show. We're talking about what's going on in the world.
Woo!
So today we got a lot to talk about. We got to talk about Matthew McConaughey's pivot into cult leading. We've got to talk about Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon getting fired by their respective news organizations. We're also going to talk about how they keep trying to push this bug eating on all of us. A mother is bragging about feeding her child crickets and saving a bunch of money. Meghan and Harry at the game. Emily Ratajkowski and Olivia Wilde have beef now. Carpool karaoke has come to an end, thank God, and much, much more. We're going to
I like
get
carpool
into
karaoke. It's fun.
No.
It's a classic.
It was the worst thing to happen to late night media. I think carpool karaoke single-handedly killed late night television because everyone just said, what the hell is that? This is what late night television is. It's all just about filming a viral clip with a celebrity and then putting it up.
Yeah.
It changed the game. It killed it. It ruined it. I mean, aside from the COVID comedy of Stephen Colbert and everyone else. But pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, carpool karaoke was the death knell.
I liked it.
Late night TV.
It was cool for me. Okay, but let's go to talk about the news and we go into more details about that later.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, so let's start with the big media news, okay? Tucker Carlson out at Fox News. Don Lemon in the same day out at CNN. It was like The Godfather. They just took them both out at the same time. Are they related at all? I don't think so, because Don Lemon had been problematic, to use the parlance of the times, at CNN for a while because he was getting into it with his female co-hosts and he was apparently screaming at people and, he was upset. And it looked like he was on his way out for a while.
So is he sexist?
They said he was sexist.
Ooh.
And I guess his bosses didn't like an interview that he just did with this
Elon Musk?
No, a guy named Vivek Ramaswamy, who's running for president. He's a conservative, and they found that Don Lemon's interview was quite opinionated and kind of biased. That's the report. Who knows if that's actually true? I read a long time ago on one of those blind item sites that Don Lemon had been angling to get off the morning show, which he had to share with Poppy Harlow and another woman, and get onto an evening show again, because he used to have Don Lemon Tonight, and then now he's in the morning. I think he went too far. He was trying to piss off his bosses so that he could get shifted onto his own hour, just him, just Don Lemon. And they ended up firing him. Now, Tucker Carlson, that was a bit more of a surprise.
Yeah, he just had a viral interview with Elon Musk.
He had Trump on recently. He's, for all intents and purposes, the face of the network.
Yeah, and what's going on? Is it I saw Murdoch fires Tucker. So what did he do to Murdoch?
Well, I think that my opinion, Murdoch is pissed that he had to settle with Dominion and pay them $700 million because of the lawsuit relating to Trump's big lie about the election being stolen and how the Dominion voting machines were tampered with or whatever. And Tucker, entertained at the very least those theories on his show. So I think Rupert was a little bit pissed at that. And he took it personally. He probably looks at Tucker and thinks that Tucker cost him a lot of money.
Oh, man.
And when they do that, now listen, Tucker, I share something in common with Tucker. We were both let go by the Fox Corporation in the last year. So I relate to Tucker.
Be careful with the Fox.
Yeah, I used to work for TMZ, if anyone knows it. I was there the entire Warner Brothers run. When TMZ was with Warner Brothers, I was there. We get to Fox. Next thing you know, I'm not there. So what are you going to do? But Tucker, I feel you just as my media brother.
Start a network together. How
Well,
about you guys start working together?
That's what I was going to say.
That would be great.
I mean, first of all, I don't know that I want to work with Tucker Carlson. I don't know that I agree with him on
Why not? Don't
everything.
you like money?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's true. You know, look, people are saying Tucker was one of the few real anti-war voices on TV. And, you know, he questioned he basically talked about how Big Pharma was bankrolling so much of this COVID and vaccine movement by you know, because they buy so much advertising on the news networks. So that kind of truth coming out on a cable channel like Fox News was dangerous to the bottom line.
Wow.
And that's all true as well. Now, I didn't watch Tucker that much, so I don't know. I've also heard he's a propagandist or he's a racist or this or that. I've only seen the clips online. So but at the same time, whenever I did watch clips, and I saw Tim Dillon was saying this too, that, you know, they want to paint him as an extremist, but then you watch a clip of his and he does seem kind of measured and reasonable in his explanation. So there's a weird disconnect in the way Tucker is portrayed by the liberals and by the way Tucker actually approaches things. That being said, apparently News Nation, the upstart network, they do a lot of coverage of the Idaho murders. And they got Chris Cuomo, who had to get let go by CNN because he was helping his brother, the governor. And you're not supposed to do that.
No, he was also sexually harassing his boss too.
Chris Cuomo?
Yeah.
I thought that was Andrew Cuomo.
I think like both of them. I think the Chris Cuomo was inappropriate in parties and, you know, saying things that make people uncomfortable and hug them weirdly. So I think both of them are a little bit of sexual predators.
I think Chris Cuomo made people most uncomfortable when he tried to say that calling an Italian Fredo was similar to the N-word. That made a lot of people uncomfortable.
Oh,
but
God.
As an Italian, I disagree.
As an Italian, I don't even know of that word.
Yeah, it's a Godfather 2 reference.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, News Nation, you know, they got Ashley Banfield, they got Brian Entin. I watch a lot of their clips online, especially, like I said, having to do with the Idaho killings. Oh, you're pulling up an article. Sexual misconduct allegation against Chris Cuomo led to his firing from CNN, attorney says. Okay, so same thing with Tucker. Apparently, the news is leaking out that there's a lawsuit against him from a woman named Abby Grossberg.
Grossberg.
I know, it's an unfortunate name, and I'm sure Tucker and his crew were making fun of that.
Trump
name.
probably will say she's a very nasty, gross woman.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that name was ripe for joking and continues to be. He's facing a lawsuit from his former head of booking, Abby Grossberg, who says she was subjected to a hostile and discriminatory work environment. She was fired by Fox News shortly after she filed 2 lawsuits against the company in March. Joined Mr. Carlson's team in 2022 after several years as a senior producer for Maria Bartiromo. So she says in her lawsuit that Tucker and male producers regularly used vulgarities to describe women and frequently made anti-Semitic jokes.
That's disgusting.
On her first day working for Mr. Carlson, Ms. Grossberg said she discovered the office was decorated with large doctored pictures of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi wearing a plunging swimsuit. She said she was once called into the top producer's office to be asked whether Ms. Bartiromo was having a sexual relationship with the House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy. Wow. And she was also coerced by Fox's lawyers into providing a misleading deposition in a recent defamation case brought by Dominion Voting Systems. So sounds like Rupert pissed off. He had to pay all this money for Dominion. He knows Tucker has a lawsuit against him, and he just wants to be done with the whole thing. I even read that Rupert was thinking of selling Fox, and that he felt that he would have a tougher time selling it with Tucker as the lead, as the centerpiece of the network. I'm telling you, I think Rupert Murdoch is now taking his ideas from Succession.
Oh my
instead
God.
of the other way around.
Yes. I actually, when I saw that yesterday, I was thinking the same thing. I was just like, oh my God, it's so Succession. They letting go like of the very important person and this and that. It's just so like, it's kind of like a fiction imitating art
Right.
or life imitating fiction. It's like, you don't know where you're going.
Speaking of Succession, by the way, real quick, just for a tangent, and no spoilers.
No
I don't want to say
spoilers.
anything about the season, but all we know is that it's the last season of Succession. I would support them making a spinoff about young Logan Roy.
Oh my God.
Conquering the news business.
Yes.
Set in like the 60s or 70s. It could be like a Mad Men meets Network meets
kind of
something
like
like
how
that.
he made his money, like how he
built the empire.
and how he became the wolf that he was, because apparently he was not necessarily raised by like special parents that didn't make him feel special and loved, and kind of like the same way that Trump was raised, like he was raised by narcissist parents, and he kind of like fought that off. And noticed, because in the beginning of the season when he explains that he was not he visited the house that he was raised, and then he said, this is the house I was raised in. The kids were like, cannot believe you were raised in that house. You know, that life that you had. They cannot imagine the life that he had before.
The thing is, though, to do that, you have to have a formidable actor. You have to have a name, because Brian Cox
Who could play younger Brian Cox? Because he's short. He's not a tall guy.
I was thinking you got to have Tom Hardy take over the role of Logan Roy. Tom Hardy of The Revenant. He played Bane in the Batman movie. You know, Tom Hardy. He's a total chameleon, but he's also a great actor. And he's also English or Scottish. You know, he's got that pedigree. He could take it on. Young Logan Roy, starring Tom Hardy.
No. How about Elijah Wood?
Elijah Wood.
Like,
I would never buy him as a powerful.
Let me explain to you. Sometimes when you put those guys that you think it's not necessarily like a evil guy, he's very enigmatic. They both had those big blue eyes. He kind of like he looks like he could be suspicious, because I don't think like Logan necessarily was the bitter man from the beginning. He probably was someone very naive that got screwed over by life and then make him bitter. And I think that to represent his youth, probably Elijah Wood would be great. And I think it will be such a like an interesting pick. Like when he start making the bad decisions and he's mischievous, he has a look in his face that is like, I don't know, you can't trust him.
I would not support. His voice is too much like this. He could never come in and be like, "Get fuck off."
No, that's
hey everybody, it's Elijah Wood.
That sounds like the
Fuck
CEO
off.
impression that you have. That what did you say, that she's gonna light up an incense and shove it in someone's asses?
Oh yeah, the Miller Knoll CEO.
Please do it again. Please do the impression. It's really good.
I'll cut your kids' heads off if you don't get my $26 million. I will kidnap everybody in your family, and I will put bamboo up their fingernails like the late Senator John McCain. If you don't get my $26 million and take the fast lane out of Pity City.
Get out of Pity City.
All right. Can I get some commitment on that? But no. Anyways, that's it. I'm just saying for HBO or Max or whatever the fuck you're calling yourselves these days, stop ramming unnecessary. Oh yeah, they're relaunching as Max.
Oh my God! Did
Did
someone lost their puppy or something?
Yeah,
like it sounds like a dog's name. Like, oh, call us Max.
Max
This is my good ball,
from The
Pax.
Simpsons. Listen.
No, it sounds like a dog's name, Max, right? Like a labradoodle or like a lab.
Jamming unnecessary Game of Thrones prequels and spin-offs down our throat.
Woo!
And work on young Logan Roy takes over the news business. There's a lot of great material. It's a gold mine. All right, getting back to Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
Another headline: Fox fired uncontrollable host Tucker Carlson, who badmouthed bosses. Fox News, in announcing Monday that it's parted ways with Tucker Carlson, is losing a host who brought in millions of viewers but proved too much to handle, even for corporate chiefs Rupert and Lachlan Murdoch. Yeah, this is all about the Dominion suit. He was uncontrollable, said Angelo Carosone, president of Media Matters for America, a nonprofit group critical of the network. At some point, you just get too big for your britches. Yeah, he wouldn't. He would go along. He did his own thing. He did his own research, and he put out a lot of information that maybe the network didn't want you to have. He wasn't so much of a rule following puppy like
most of people.
Sean Hannity.
He had personality.
Yeah. I don't think ultimately, though, that's why he was let go. I think it always comes down to a more primal thing, which is Rupert sitting there like, that bloody fucking, I paid $700 million for this Dominion lawsuit, and Tucker was responsible. He's the biggest name on the network. Get him out of here. He's got a lawsuit. Even the lawsuit, Bill O'Reilly, before he was let go, he had paid out $30 million. They had paid out like $30 million in lawsuits related to Bill O'Reilly, and he wasn't let go until the Me Too movement, and they had to let him go. So even the lawsuit, Tucker should be a little bit pissed about that, because I bet his lawsuit is not going to pay out nearly that much. There was no loofah phone call named in this lawsuit from Mrs. Grossberg, but
Grossberg.
By the way, one quick thing about Bill O'Reilly. I happened to read, remember when Jack Nicholson a week or two ago was spotted for the first time in 18 months? I read an article because everyone said, oh, his mind is gone and he's old and, he's near the end. But apparently in the article, Bill O'Reilly is, according to Bill O'Reilly, good friends with Jack Nicholson, and that he visited Jack not long ago. And get this, Jack is a big fan of the No Spin Zone, supposedly. Can you imagine that? And that they go and have conversations. No spin. So anyways, Bill, I really loved your editorial the other night. Black Lives Matter is an issue. No. So Tucker's out. Don Lemon out. They've hired the same powerhouse lawyer. Who's helped TV hosts secure multi-million-dollar payouts from their old networks. Now, why didn't I hire this guy when I was let go from Fox? I want to join this lawsuit. Valiant Thor says, how did Americans manage to convert a once beautiful country into a psychiatric hospital with the patients in charge? I'm telling you how, Valiant Thor. TikTok. It was all TikTok and social media. It ruined everyone's minds. Really, the smartphone. The downfall of society can be traced back to 2007 when Steve Jobs, Satan in the flesh, introduced the smartphone.
Thank God.
Somebody, Colin Quinn, pointed this out in his Red State, Blue State. The whole coincidence of, the company's called Apple, and he's giving us this fruit of knowledge, the smartphone and all that kind of stuff. Now, listen, I'm not like a biblical prophecy conspiracy weirdo, right? So don't worry about that. I'm just saying it's kind of funny. Only thing left is for the ETs to reveal themselves, then every single piece of toilet paper on the planet will be gone. You're damn right. We'll be hoarding. So what happened? Did we lose our ring light?
Yeah. No, it's not that. I think it's disconnected to the power source.
Oh,
to the power.
Okay, just plug in that extension cord. Okay, so anyways, Don and Tucker hired the same powerhouse lawyer. Guys, again, I'd love to join. Brian Friedman is known as the go-to lawyer for multi-million-dollar payouts in messy media breakouts.
Fix the problem on the ring light.
Are they going to are they communicating? I would love to know if Tucker and Don Lemon are texting each other about this. Are they going to match up? Some people have said that they should bring back Crossfire, which was thank you for that like and subscription, Valiant Thor. Appreciate you. Have a great day. Watching from Los Alamos National Laboratory, Isotel Production Facility. All right, listen, you tear a hole in the space-time continuum. Thank you. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, that they should bring back Crossfire. That was the old CNN show with Tucker Carlson and that really old guy from 20 years ago, where back when Tucker had the bow tie, and it was a liberal and a conservative, and they would, argue about politics. Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson, Crossfire 2. I wouldn't watch it, but, Why not? I wonder if Tucker has a lawsuit on his hands. Let's see. Friedman, if he's got this guy, he might. Friedman previously worked to help former host Megyn Kelly secure around $30 million from NBC News after she parted ways with the network in 2019.
Isn't she in the same network now as Ben Shapiro?
No, I think she has her own thing.
No, but she's a little bit of the conservative. Like she was.
Oh, no,
I saw
know.
her posting hateful videos against
But-
like all sorts of things.
But Ben Shapiro is the Daily Wire. Like he's got his own little empire that he's building. In 2021, Friedman also represented longtime The Bachelor host Chris Harrison, who reached a $10 million exit settlement with ABC after facing backlash over his comments on the show. Chris Cuomo is represented by Friedman in his ongoing wrongful termination suit against the network for $125 million. Lemon, like Cuomo, appears to have left CNN on a bitter note, too. In a tweet on Monday, he wrote that he was terminated by CNN and stunned by the announcement. It's clear there are some larger issues at play. Well, you know, the new guy who took over CNN, Chris Licht, said that he wanted to kind of pivot away from being so lefty on the network and having so much opinionated news and kind of just make it like CNN used to be, where it was just the news network, the cable news network. It was kind of nonpartisan. And I guess Don Lemon wasn't fitting into that vision. So I don't know. I'm sure they'll both get payouts. I don't know where they're going to go. News Nation, maybe. I mean, you know, maybe they start their own thing. Maybe the only thing is, if I was Tucker, I would not look at Bill O'Reilly. Is anyone besides Jack Nicholson really subscribing to the no spin zone? He has lost his perch. He's no longer in the national conversation. Nobody cares. Other people who go off and just try to do their own podcasts, don't seem they don't seem to catch on. You know,
really, when you leave a network, if you think the popularity of the person is not going to carry on into their podcast career?
I don't think so. I mean,
really,
look at my show. I left TMZ.
No.
The popularity is not
No. But you're not a celebrity. I'm talking about someone like a Megyn Kelly or someone.
She has done it. She has done it. If I was Tucker, I would talk to Megyn Kelly because she has found a way to stay relevant and get her takes out there. I always see her being quoted in the news.
Yeah, she's always on the news. She's always on my YouTube trending and my shorts on YouTube. And I love that she kind of came out of the shell and we can really see that she's just have her opinions. I don't agree with all her opinions, but I think that's good to see that she has the freedom to be creative in her own way. So I like that.
Yeah. Well, News Nation, as I said, is interested in potentially hiring both of them. Who knows if Tucker even wants to do a podcast or something, or maybe Spotify. He could go to Spotify. I don't know if they would want him, but News Nation would be formidable. That's it. And of course, I'm throwing my hat in the ring as well. So that's the Tucker and Don Lemon thing. Let's move it on to Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
And The Art of Living.
Oh, wait a second. Where's the book?
So McConaughey yesterday.
So
I'm surprised this didn't make more news. Okay. Because a major A-lister, Oscar winner, pivoting into being a self-help guru. To me, that's newsworthy. Now, look, we've seen McConaughey do this in public before. His Oscar acceptance speech, where he got up there and he's like, "I want everybody to take a look at what's going on," and he's doing his whole I figured out the universe.
Oh no, but yeah, can I say something? I don't think that when he wrote this book that he had the intention of becoming a self-help guru. I think that honestly, so according to his interviews, he gave interviews to Joe Rogan, I think about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and other companies that I'm like, sorry, other podcasts that I listen to. So I was kind of going around and listening to them. So during the quarantine, he didn't have anything that he was working on, and his wife was like, well, you have all those notes, all those kind of like things that you put together over the years. How about just kind of make a book out of, go write something, go do something, go get this, because you have you've been taking notes all your life since we've been together or whatever. And then he went to the desert, not far from where he lives, apparently, and then he kind of wrote the book. I think when he did it, he said originally it was supposed to be kind of like a biography, but he said because he's still alive and he's still young, he said it was a little bit like, I turned 50, so I live half of a century, and this is how I feel. So he kind of created that as a way to document his mindset going through difficulties in his life as a child, as a teenager, as a young man entering Hollywood, and pursuing a career in entertainment business. And that was supposed to be more of like, this is my story, and this is kind of how I persevere and how I kind of, try to stay positive. Like the world, it's not, as I read his this book, The Green Lights, it's like, it's not always sunshine and rainbows, but it's almost like, okay, this is a very hard thing, but then he learned a lesson out of it. And I think that when the book came out, people got really curious because he's such a charismatic person. I remember him accepting the Oscars, and he's always a personality bigger than life. I never seen an actor that other celebrities quote so often or imitate as much as him. Besides Jack Nicholson and some other iconic people, he's one of the people that everybody knows and have an impression of him. Right. And it's like he's a special guy. So I think that then the kind of industry, the Tony Robbins industry.
Right. Well, so let's first of all, let's tell people exactly what happened, because it sounds like no one even heard about this. So he starts sending out an email to people or advertising it. Matthew McConaughey is going to have a seminar, The Art of Living.
It's entirely free.
Yeah, it's free
because he doesn't want us to pay for it.
So we checked it out yesterday. We want to see what is this about.
We spent all day connected to it.
It's like he comes out and he's here and he's talking.
Forward. Now, will you commit to dissecting the successes instead of the failures in your life?
Self-help thing.
Because I believe that the recipe for your particular secret sauce is under the hood of what you do well, not what.
So listen, he's a self-help guy. He's coming out, he's talking to people, and everyone is like in the chat. It was live streamed. At one point, there were like over 400,000 people watching this.
Yeah, it was insane.
Live streamed. People enjoyed it until it comes out that. Yeah, all of a sudden you start seeing this guy, Dean Graziano.
Okay, good. Let me just say something about the beginning. No, don't go yet. I'm just saying, like, in the beginning, it felt that was something that was coming out of, Matthew McConaughey's head.
People felt like it was pure.
It was pure. But at the same time, you kind of start seeing the little bit how he moved his body. It's kind of like the self-help people. They all we're going to help your life. Yeah. What do you do? Whatever you constructed, let's deconstruct.
But you can tell he's a little nervous and inexperienced because he's kind of unsure of himself, and like he's just like in this room that looks like the metaverse. Like this is like the future, the metaverse future that Mark Zuckerberg envisions with a fake VR background, and it's just all very and a canned laugh and cheering track.
And changes like from like the spectators to kind of like this kind of country place in that, like, Texans vibe ranch. But the thing is that I thought was kind of interesting. In the beginning, everybody was really excited, including me. Like, Dante got me this book for my birthday a while ago. And it's exactly what I want. I want to see him playing banjo. I want to see him
here's just a little bit of it.
Divorce, control, perfection, mental health, my finances, my control.
And so, he's like asking people in the chat, like, put out your intentions. And he's got a VR background. He's playing the bongos, of course.
The bongo is
It's
great.
kind of meandering at points, but he's saying stuff. I mean, look, this is an ego thing. It's an ego gratification thing. He wants to, maybe he feels that he's done it all with acting and he needs to move on. And he's got this truth to share. He's almost veering into Gary Busey territory. Gary Busey, he used to show up and he was like in some religious group or something. He would go and be like, trust. That stands for talking realistically, understanding sacred truth. And then he would have these weird acronyms and he'd be talking about, everything that he's learned and the meanings and all that. And so McConaughey is veering a little bit into that. And by the way, how dare he do this only 5 days after the 30th anniversary of the Waco, Texas massacre?
Oh,
because
my God.
it seemed at times like he was starting a cult.
God.
It absolutely did.
Let me say something. Okay, so this is my theory. My theory is he purely started as kind of like the book. He wrote it. He wanted to put his like biography and he reached 50, whatever, his ideas, how he thinks. And he wanted just to kind of share how he dealt with Hollywood during this time and difficulties. Okay. And then the self-help gurus bought the book. Right. They devoured the book and they're like, there's a way to, if we can monetize and turn celebrities into self-help talkers, kind of like they do for athletes.
Right.
It would work. So I'm sure that Dean guy and Tony Robbins was like, man, let's monetize it. Dean is so fake. Like that guy, he gives me like, like bad salesman vibes. And he's like entirely saying things like, oh my God, guys, I read this book and it changed he talks like this, and it changed my life. The way I do it, like, I can, and I sound like I'm a Spider-Man, but I'm like a 50-something-year-old man. I sound like this. I sound very young. And then I'm like, this dude probably was like, oh my God, he just saw money. He read the book. He saw how McConaughey is. And he's like, when he goes to the Oscars or Golden Globes and present awards and everybody just kind of have a reaction. He's like, oh my God, his money. He's our entrance even deeper in Hollywood. Forget about Menounos and like, I don't know, C-listers, D-listers. Let's get the A-listers with the McConaughey philosophy. And it probably sold him out. And then he is like, you know what? Life is giving me this green light and I'm gonna go because I want to make a lot of greens. And he doesn't even need the money. Matthew McConaughey doesn't need the money.
So yeah, but basically here's a little bit of that Dean guy.
So I got a full tank of that. And I start to fade. And I quit tending to those things. I quit having certain habits that feed that confidence. And all of a sudden I look up a couple weeks later, I'm like, why am I a little shaky right now? I was like, well, I'm playing grab ass with my memory for the things I didn't do that I know I needed to do to fill my tank.
It makes total sense.
Yeah, okay. So like here's the interesting thing. So McConaughey comes out, he's talking and he's promoting, this is going to be so incredible for your life. And then they bring out Dean Graziano, and that's when the sales pitch really starts. And that's when people started to turn on the whole thing. Now McConaughey leaves the stage before Dean tells you, and we're offering a course, and it's this huge value for, it's like a $3,600 value.
Did you film it?
I forgot to send over this one little screen cap.
No. It was kind of like Steve Jobs when so I noticed that he called like probably one of the Dean's idols is Steve Jobs because he was wearing a green shirt, which is kind of like Steve Jobs wear, round glasses, kind of Steve Jobs, like kind of say, I'm a genius, I'm smarter than you, I'm wearing black. And then the traditional, like the most iconic thing that Steve Jobs did, because Steve Jobs was like a dream seller and he was great salesman. And I remember when he introduced the iPad, it was pretty iconic because he would say, this thing, the iPad is supposed to be costing this much money, but with all those things that we're offering. So he put like this huge price tag and then but we are selling for only like, I don't know, it was like $500 something or almost $600 back in the day when iPad was cheaper. And that was kind of people like, whoa. So it's like, that's a tactic that Apple has been using for years. They still do it now. Like if you watch one of their phones or whatever MacBook, they still use the tactic of like, overpricing something, and they're like, but no, only today because we want everyone to have it.
So here's the list of here's like the price breakdown. Like it's $1,000 value, and then as a bonus,
you gotta speak like Spider-Man, babe. That's not how they talk.
Yeah, he's like, and then as a bonus, you also get monthly live training and 4 years worth of on-demand training library, $1,370 value. Then you get a new course every month and over 30 courses library, another $1,000 value. And then, but we're the total value $4,507. But today, the event only price is $397
because we wanted you to have it. But it's cost like $5,000 almost.
It's always like, who said the value was $4,597? What governing body has evaluated these materials and said, oh, that's $1,000. Oh, that's a $1,300 value.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's a pamphlet and it's some videos
that lucky us, we're getting it for only $397.
Honestly, I love McConaughey. I'll tell you the truth. I'm a little disappointed with this partnership, but I think the book is a great tool and you can interpret it the way you want it. You don't need to have that kind of like expensive course. And of course, right after that was as that was being presented, the chat that was in the recording in their studio disappeared. And then, but you can still see the chat bot from the YouTube, right? Everybody vomiting, everybody mad, everybody disappointed.
Here's what people are saying there. It's like, I'm out. You lost me. Scam. Not for me. I love you. My journey. I thought it ended at the top of the hour. I guess all the fun stuff. Nothing's free. What was I thinking? Bye.
There was like,
can't believe this was all for money. So disappointed. So like people really got upset because they felt a little bit swindled. They felt like they'd been sucked in by this free event.
And you know what?
That reminds me. That's what's messed up is like Dean and whoever. I don't know if Tony Robbins is behind this or if they had to pay Tony Robbins to be part of this.
Of course they're behind it. Dean is actually the partner of Tony Robbins. He does all the Tony Robbins events.
They're trading on McConaughey's credibility. And they probably convinced him. Now, listen, McConaughey, he's not innocent totally. He got paid $10 million by the CEO of Salesforce to come and like give talks, like this type of talks to his Salesforce employees. And then, of course, they went on to fire thousands of them. Well, Matthew McConaughey gets $10 million, but whatever, they can spend their money how they like. So he's into this world. And I'm sure Dean and Tony were like,
let's make money out of Matthew.
No, trust us. You have to charge a lot of money for the course or they won't take it seriously.
Oh my God.
And we'll do the sales pitch and you just come out and be McConaughey. They don't even call him Matthew on the show. They keep saying, McConaughey. How about give it up for McConaughey?
Oh my God. The woman. Okay. When the thing started, and then there's like that woman that does the whole introduction and just like talking to the crowd. She's kind of sounds like, when you go like someone's church for the first time and it's not like a normal church, it's kind of like those modern churches. And she's like, guys, like, let's all like sit up and shake it to the right and shake it to the left. And like, let's make sure that like we have all our intentions. Make sure you're clear. Sit up straight. Don't just like sit down, like lay down on the couch. Sit up straight. Let's get this together because we're gonna observe as much as we can from McConaughey. And I'm so excited. I've been doing this thing for a half of a decade, which is like 5 years. 5 years. So she's like half of a decade because you say half of a decade, it makes it look like it's like a long time. I've been doing this for like so long, and this is McConaughey really changed my life. And then it's just like, and I mean, in the beginning, I was just like thinking like, oh damn, I could see through it. And then McConaughey comes, of course, he's nice and charismatic, but like the whole like Dante is correct. It's like they are trying to say, hey, we'll do the sales, we do all the finance part. You just go there and be McConaughey.
Right now, I listened to it. it's encouraging stuff. It could be helpful for your life if you choose to use it. I think a lot of people were just upset because they thought Matthew McConaughey was doing some free, amazing thing. McConaughey's got plenty of money in their eyes. And then, of course, it turns out to be a sales pitch, just like any other event. If I was advising McConaughey,
he has to pay Dean. He has to pay the other guy, the
Right.
athlete
But he
guy,
doesn't
the
need-
introduction.
But truly, I don't think.
Tony.
McConaughey's up there. You can tell he wants to be a preacher or a guru. Like, we thought that Jared Leto was the one starting the cult. It's McConaughey. He's really the proselytizer in Hollywood.
He kind of almost looks
he
like
could
Jesus
do it.
a little bit, right? Like a blonde Jesus. Like those Jesus that people say it's inappropriate because there's a blonde Jesus. He kind of looks like a blonde Jesus.
If I was to talk to McConaughey, I'd say you don't need Dean and Tony.
Yeah, do it alone.
You could do a free YouTube live stream like this once a week where you can talk and people will tune in and listen, and then just sell your book from there. Be like, if you buy my book, it'd be like PBS, like, buy a copy of Green Lights right now and we'll feed a child. If you did it that way, it's
so much more genuine.
Yeah,
than
people would
Tony
not be upset. It's just like when you come out with a $397 horse, people say, oh.
It leaves a bad taste, that's kind of a little bit of an antithesis of the purpose of this course, because one of the things that he talks about when he go to podcast talking that he was going to do this event was that we come from hard times. We come from times of COVID. The times that a lot of people lost their jobs, lost their foundation, lost faith, we saw the worst of humanity. We saw protests. We saw violence against people because of their race. We saw people losing their jobs now by the tech. Tech is letting go 10,000 people every other month. We see in the news. So we're in shaky times. He started saying that to people, and people yeah, we're going through shaky times. We need some hope. We need to listen to someone that will help us to find tools to kind of cope with this difficult time and remind us who we really are and remind us what our potential. But instead of that the beautiful intention was completely broken when you kind of as trying to ask money from people that actually there's even comments saying we're here because we are broke or we're
people
poor.
are wait a second, we don't have money. That's why we came here in the first place.
Exactly. And it's just so disappointing. And
I don't have money.
That's
one
why,
of them says right in the middle on that the big chat box. Yeah.
Chat box. And it's just it's so and it's something that's supposed to be, let me tell you the truth. It did inspire me when he talked about intentions, let it go, whatever. Remember who you are, follow your dreams, start doing things now. Don't take things, the lessons that he said is things that I heard before, but it's nice to be reminded and to be inspired, and the energy of having other people going through the same problem all together. And it's contagious. You want to change, you want to do better. But then when it becomes a little bit of a sales pitch, it's reminds me when my mom and I used to get trapped by the Mary Kate sellers. You know what Mary Kate is?
Mary Kay?
Mary Kay
makeup? Yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, this woman from church, usually from church, will say to me and my mom, oh my God, we're going to have lunch on Sunday in my house after church service. Come over, bring a cake. Come over, let's do that. And then my mom and I will go. And we're we just sit down, and then we're about to, put the cakes in we're going to have a tea moment with the other ladies. And the woman comes in with a box, and she's like, hey guys, here's a little magazines and a few things that I'm selling, some lipstick. Now, you don't have to buy whatever, but, and then she puts a very uncomfortable situation where you're kind of trapped in someone's house. You're having some kind of tea. You pretend that you want to buy something. Of course, you're going to buy something because you're in their house, and you bring something. And it's just you're spending more money in that, and it was not upfront. It was not something that they were going to say, we're going to sell some Mary Kay. They would attract you there, and then you get trapped there, and you had to buy a lipstick or something. And my mom was just pick something for the love of God. Mm-hmm. And then I would be okay. And that happened so many times. So I felt that McConaughey trapped me like the Mary Kay sellers. He attracted us to his house, pretending that's gonna be just playing bongo, whatever the heck that instrument is, and in the end of the day, it's just a sales pitch, and we had to leave some lipstick out, or stop painting the pig because we know it's a pig.
Look, the fact that he's selling this course online, I guess, is a little bit encouraging, because it probably means it's not going to be another Jonestown. He's not going to take everyone down to South Africa and have them drink the Kool-Aid and commit a mass suicide. It's not going to be another Hail Bop Comet cult situation. I think he's
Where is
just
that going
trying
from?
to. These are
Where
all,
does that
these
come
are
from?
all the,
What's darkness?
the suicide cults that I can remember growing up.
Okay, good. But like,
Hold on, let's watch a little bit of McConaughey.
okay, let's watch it.
By the way, you hear that cheering and clapping? That's a track. There's not a real, there's like a small audience there with them, but they're playing this laugh track thing.
It almost sounds like the beginning of a concert of like some concert. They just filmed recorded their voice.
Yeah, it was a little weird. But ultimately, it's like people were turned off. I think. I don't know how many people signed up. Again, no one even is talking about this. I found one article about it.
So also say green lights. It's a money for Matthew, Tony, and Dean. 3 green lights.
Right. Exactly. Green lights is a green backs. So listen, someone from The Guardian, L. Hunt, apparently watched this. Yeah, you see that in the background? That's all the zooms of people that were on the live.
I know when people start being weird, they start taking them out. It's so funny though. I was watching more of the background. It was funny. Some people were like doing some weird shit, and then they start just taking them offline.
So she talks about the things she learned, like invest in yourself. There are no answers. The art of living starts with admitting.
Oh my gosh, you drink the Kool-Aid then.
Don't hole yourself up in your echo chamber. Keep on running, blah, 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 blah. But she even acknowledges the money part. The money part.
The chorus.
Yeah.
The commercial. The purpose. The real purpose
she says,
of this.
For nearly 2 hours, McConaughey has not stopped moving, rhyming, drumming, singing, all with seemingly the utmost sincerity. It's been unexpectedly mesmerizing, somewhere between the actor's studio and a new age preacher.
Is she looking for a
By
job
now,
there?
I'm riled up. I'm ready to start living. But for some, this commitment to trusting and risk-taking is shaken by what happens next. The live event has all been a promo for a road trip, the highway to more. McConaughey's new immersive learning experience.
In the metaverse.
And then you're shown a 10-minute commercial. And so,
that salesman.
I felt a little bad for McConaughey because I could see in his eyes he was kind of like not super down with the whole idea of selling this.
Yeah, I could tell. He was uncomfortable.
He felt a little icky about selling this, but that's when the professionals took over. And Tony Robbins, who couldn't even be bothered to actually show up, he also was appearing from some kind of tropical metaverse.
Hey guys, this is Tony Robbins here.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be here, Matthew.
Yeah. The signal was a little bad.
Listen, I'm about to.
Oh, Matthew, thank you so much. You know, when I first met Matthew.
So
yeah, he's like Matthew put a lot of his heart and soul into this, so it's totally worth it. $3.99. It is a great price for this course because he put his heart and soul in it, and it's gonna change your life. It changed my life, and it would change yours. And I'm like, how did it change your life? You're already like a guru,
right? So it was a little weird, but I'm
curious
to see where it goes. Truly, I'm just curious to see.
I mean, I like Matthew McConaughey. Am I gonna buy his books? Yes. Am I gonna buy his course? I don't think so. Am I gonna give money to Dean? Whatever. Who is that Dean guy? How he became connected with Tony Robbins? Like, do we know who that guy is?
He went to his course, and then he,
is he like a marketing guy? Okay.
Who knows? They're all like, they get high on
monetization, money,
human interaction, and meeting up. And look, if it works for you, it works for you. Some people, and it's great.
But then, I almost feel
certainly has helped some people.
Fed up with they feel validated by people's unhappiness. Like, I think he's like sadistic because he didn't sound like a good person to me, honestly.
Yeah, well, they never do. They always come off, the salesman guys always come off slimy.
Yeah.
God damn it. My computer is moving very slowly today.
Are we still
Can
online?
we even see me? Hello? Did it freeze?
No, it's frozen. Mike.
Okay, hold on. All right, listen. We seem to be having some internet troubles. It kind of like crashed my entire system.
Must be
So,
YouTube stopping us for talking shit about the course.
yeah, that's right. They probably made a ton of money. I don't know. We might have to cut today's episode short and
Sorry,
maybe
guys.
resume it a little bit later. Of course, we're having trouble. So, apologies to everybody. The internet is cutting in and out here, and it's tough to do the show like this. So, listen, we talked for 51 minutes, and we talked about 2 subjects. I have like 15 more stories that I wanted to talk about.
Talk
but
about tonight.
yeah, I'm going to have to get this figured out because it's just frustrating to try to do it and then have it all slow down and cut out. So, we will be back. Yeah, the screen was blank. Yeah, it just totally like logged us out of the whole thing. So, we'll be back later. Sorry. Watch the replay. Enjoy. Check us out on TikTok.
Thank you, guys.
Instagram, Twitter, and all that kind of stuff.
Woo,
All right. See you later.
bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
All right.